Okay, this is a little project I'm working on using a DMX encoder, actually 4 DMX decoders to control strip lights. The purpose of my project is so that I can make it portable, so I can break it down, move it around, do what I want with it, and not have to have it set up as a permanent installation. The thing is, it'll have 4 DMX decoders. Each can do 4 channels. Well, actually the last one can only do 3 because it's an RGB. The first 3 are RGB-Ws. So my thought was to, do some different things with it. For example, instead of having it just do RGB or RGB-W, I could set it up to where I could have multiple strip lights, as many as I want, and they could be all the same color. It didn't really matter. So I'd have a total of 15 channels. That way I could set up my strip lights and I could use DMX software, something like my DMX Buddy software, and I can control the timing, when the light comes on or off. So let's just say I wanted to have 15 channels, I wanted them all red. I don't have to use the green or blue or white diodes on the strip. I can just use all the red channels only. So then I could set up all my strips in a pattern. It could be a circular pattern with a bunch of different circles spanning out. It could be a fan pattern, whatever I want. And then I could have light channel 1, bring up light strip 1 for a certain amount of time. Could be milliseconds, doesn't really matter. And then channel 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to 15, or as many as you wanted to do. It really wouldn't matter. It's not limited by however many channels. I mean, what I think a normal DMX is like 512, but you could double that with a better controller. I think the software only supports 512. I'll have to dig into that, but it depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it. The main thing is you can, like I say, you can control the timing. I don't know if you can see very well, but there's like sliders. This is just a small little screen grab of the software. There's sliders, and you can move each channel up or down to control the brightness and that. So with that being said, you just make a program, easily by moving the sliders and setting how much time you want on each event. And the sliders will automatically move. You'll see them moving in the software. But you could have a white light come on, then a red, 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 green, 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 whatever pattern you want to make. So pretty much you can make chases and shows and stuff just with regular RGB and RGB-W strips. I've got a lot of leftover strip cutoffs that I've got because I did a couple barbecues, and you're never perfect length, so you're going to have cutoffs. And those are all viable lights you can use to make some kind of light show with. I think my main purpose is just, I'm experimenting right now. Hopefully this video will show you what I did and how I set up the decoders so that they're easily plugged and unplugged and moved around and do what you want with them. And at the end I showed I showed the wiring diagram of how you'd wire them. I showed the product itself, and I showed a little rack that I was working on that you can use for Christmas lights, and that was just, that little rack there was just made out of parts that I had. My boss had a couple of barbecues, his barbecue and his son's barbecue, and they wanted RGB lighting around the countertops and stuff. And eventually he didn't really like the color wheels. He wanted to go with a radio, an RF controller, so he could control not only his barbecue lights, he could control his palapas and stuff like that out in his backyard. Not that he doesn't have tons of landscape lighting, but he also wanted strip lighting up inside of his palapas and his barbecue. And so I got a lot of cut-off strips. I got a bunch of free color wheels. So that's how I put together that rack. You'll just see a picture of it. And then there's also an addressable controller, a SPI controller that I got real cheap, and I'm going to put strip lights on that so I can do some animations with it. And I put an actual hardware DMX controller in the rack, and then also I have a computer, an old computer that I have that's a touch screen. Just stuff that normal people would probably throw in the trash, you know, it's not worth anything. Actually, I even made the panels that I mounted the color wheels into with just some 1/4-inch plywood, some real thin plywood. And then I'm using XRL plugs to go out. And then I think on the final picture I'm showing some really nice waterproof connectors that I'm going to be using. They're coming from China, so it'll probably take a while to get them, but once I get them I'll demo them and show you what I'm doing with them. Pretty much just little projects I'm working on. This will show you step by step how I put together the decoders, and that's pretty much it in a nutshell. This is the next little project I'm doing. It's going to be a DMX decoder that I can run basically 4, 4, 4, 12 plus 3, 15 DMX channels. And that would mean I'd have 15 channels that I can control strip lights on. So let's see what we got here. These are each individual modules. This one is an individual module. It's an RGB-W, so it's 4-channel. RGB-W 4-channel, RGB-W 4-channel, and an RGB. Just some modules I had that I wanted to see if I could employ them into a project. Okay, so the back of it has Euro plugs, which I really hate. I just don't like having wires like that. Just kind of scrappy. And these plugs just, to me, are just too cheesy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little sidecar, this thing here, it's a little box, bolt it on the side, like that. And then with that, I'm going to mount MIDI plugs, which are 4-pin. That's all I need to run my 4 channels of, actually 5 because you've got a ground, so whatever. That'll be good for running my, I'm going to punch them into the chassis, 4 of them, and then mount this like a little sidecar, and then make it a little umbilical cable that'll come out the back into the Euro plugs. And then I can take just a standard MIDI plug, cord, whatever, I'll resolder, and then I can plug my strip lighting in, 1, 2, 3, 4. And so they'll correspond with the different modules. I can easily deploy it, take it apart, store it, and you know, I'll make real long tethers on the cables so that I can go out for like Christmas lights, whatever. And then this will be controlled by DMX software, so that way I can control it. So you know, I have my dip switches already all set. Yeah, another kitchen handle like I always use. I just kind of like those because they're just kind of nice. I had a bunch of them, so I use that. And I put some all thread through each of the holes on the sides of the modules, and then bolted them down, put a bracket over the top to hold them together. And that's about it. So I'll kind of show you when it's done. I'm not going to show you all the soldering and stuff, but I'll demo it out. And just an idea for portability. That's the main reason I did that. Here we have a 4-channel DMX decoder, and that's what I started off with for my strip lights. I stacked 4 of them together, and 3 of them are 4-channel. The 4th one on the bottom is a 3-channel. Then I got an aluminum box, got it off eBay, not a big deal. Easy to drill out and stuff. That's what I'm going to put my MIDI plugs into. Alright, so there's my box, getting ready for drilling. Had to kind of precisely lay out the holes as best you could anyways. Painter's tape. Then I used a couple of drill motors with some step bits or unibits and a pilot bit to get me started. Didn't want to spend a bunch of time. Just to be safe and not have the box spin on you or something and get injured, just use a small vise to hold the box in place. And protect the box with a rag or some rubber or something to hold it so you don't get it all scratched up, and you know, just keep it nice looking. Okay, I've got the pilot holes drilled, just drilled them real quick with a 1/4-inch drill bit, and just to get it started. Then I used the step bit and just drilled through real quickly. I could have used a punch, but I was just in a hurry, wanted to get it done, and just drilled down and checked with the MIDI plugs. You can see them here; they're kind of rusty and crappy. But anyways, I used self-tapping screws, really small ones, because I didn't feel like drilling the holes. Then I put a strain relief on the side of the box, because that's where I'm coming out with my cables to go to the Euro plugs on the decoders. I had to notch out the box. I used a little Dremel tool. That was pretty simple. Kind of hard with aluminum. It kind of clogs the bit, but no big deal. There's the final product, and looks pretty good. Makes it nice and portable and easy to plug and unplug stuff, so you don't have to be having everything wired together. You can move it around and reconfigure it however you want, and pretty much that's about it. This is a picture of how you would connect the strip lights to the MIDI plug or DIN 5-pin. There's an image of a rack I built out of just scrap. The plates are actually made out of just 1/4-inch plywood and stuff, and the color wheels I got for free. And these are some interesting little waterproof plugs that I ordered. They'll probably take a month to get coming from China, but I'll show you them later. They're pretty cool.